The moment all 5 of us Armed Dragon players have been waiting for is only in less than 2 weeks. We're getting Pile Armed Dragon in the TCG. So this card was announced like over a year ago, literally like right after Blazing Vortex dropped in the US. We got teased with this Pile Armed Dragon card, and this card just makes the deck do a 180. So the deck before, it had some good, cool, cute effects, you know, like the searching for cost and whatnot, but there wasn't enough to make a whole strategy out of it. Pile Armed Dragon was kind of like the card we were missing, because it's going to be able to abuse all of those Armed Dragon Thunder effects and turbo out the boss monster even faster, meaning that you're going to end on more than just the Armed Dragon Thunder level 10, which in my opinion was the biggest issue in the Blazing Vortex support, was that all it did was facilitate the summon of this guy when he's not really powerful enough to be on his own. You need other interruptions as well. Short disclaimer, I am missing a couple of cards for this profile, so there will be proxies, including this OCG copy of Pile Armed Dragon since he's not officially released yet. But without further ado, let's get into the card by card. So let's start this profile off strong with 3 of the best boy, 3 copies of Pile Armed Dragon. This is going to absolutely save the deck. It's so freaking broken. I can't emphasize how good this card is. So this card is going to special summon itself out by sending a dragon that's level 7 or higher, or it has the wind attribute from hand to grave as cost to special summon itself out, providing you free body on the board. And if you sent an Armed Dragon Thunder to the grave with this effect, that'll trigger its effect to search for a new card, or you could send something like an Absoluter Dragon to search for a Rocket Tracer. So that effect alone is really good. And then it has an even better effect to target a monster on the field, usually itself, to boost its attack by sending an Armed Dragon from deck to grave as cost. Now the attack boost comes up once in a while, like swinging over a window who has an Alistair attack boost, something like that can come up once in a while, but for the most part you're just using it to trigger a second Armed Dragon Thunder effect, and also to get your Armed Dragon Thunder level 7 in the graveyard. So all you have to do to get level 10 out is bring back the level 7 from the grave with a Monster Reborn type of card, and then discard 1 monster, and then boom, you got your Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 with that body on the board. So you're probably at bare minimum ending on Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 and a Heretic Seals, which is much better than what it did in the past, where it struggled just to make Thunder level 10 pass. Keep in mind, it triggering all of these search effects is cost, meaning when your opponent effect failures and imperms you, and that, trust me, it's going to happen. A lot of people don't read. You're going to not get the attack boost, which is fine, because it's actually kind of, it has a restriction. You can only attack with 1 monster when you do it. There is a loophole to this. There's a monster in our extra deck that can attack multiple times, so it's not a huge drawback, and a lot of the times we're going first anyways. But the point is, it can do all this under cost. So if you're under skill drain, you can summon this guy out from your hand, trigger a bunch of effects while he's on the field, even though you're under skill drain, and it makes him, you know, very resilient to hand traps. So I could go on and on about why this card is so goddamn broken, but I'm just gonna leave it at that. It's a good card. Run 3 of it. Your entire deck revolves around this card now. Moving along, we got the Armed Dragon Thunder engine. This is like the meat and potatoes of the deck. These are all the Blazing Vortex cards. 3 Armed Dragon Thunder level 3, 3 Armed Dragon Thunder level 5, and 3 Armed Dragon Thunder level 7. So the important part about these guys is when they're sent to the grave for the activation of another dragon's effect, it'll trigger their effect in grave to search for a new card. So level 3 will draw you one. This is by far the worst effect, because it does conflict with pot cards, which I would love to run in this deck. So that's kind of unfortunate, but at least it gets you some kind of like hand advantage. 5 and 7 are the important ones. The 5 is going to search for any level 5 or higher wind dragon, so that can reach outside of the archetype, including really powerful cards like Tempest, which is just insane because that can search you any dragon. And then Thunder level 7 can get you anything within the archetype, which is really good because there's a ton of great spells. 1 gives you recursion and protection. 1, or actually 2 of them, is going to extend your plays. And then of course you can search for like a boss monster or your Armed Dragon names if you need another one in your hand, like level 3 is very common to search. And then while they're on the field, you can send a monster from hand to grave to send themselves to the grave to special summon the next level of Armed Dragon. So 3 goes into 5, into 7, into 10. That was the original game plan with the deck, but it's much better now. So we usually just send 7 to grave, bring it back, discard once, and you got a Thunder level 10. Now, if you don't have access to Pile, something that you can do is go level 3 into 5 into Pile, because it doesn't specify Armed Dragon Thunders. So that's something neat that you can do, but for the most part, you're just going to level up the 7 as a part of your combo and not really go through the whole fragile line of going 3 to 5 5 to 7. For the Arm Dragon boss monsters, we play 1 copy of Thunder level 10, and we play 1 copy of level 10 white. This is literally all you need. Do not increase these numbers because you will brick like a motherfucker. Thunder level 10 is really good for a turn 1 play because he has a bunch of different effects based on the attack he has. You have to special summon him through an Armed Dragon monster's effect, aka Thunder level 7. Otherwise, he'll just be a vanilla beat stick, and you don't want that. So at 3000 attack, you can't take control of him, you can't destroy him by battle. Both very good armor. I had like an invoked player struggle for like 10 turns trying to out this dude because of the battle armor. It's very underrated. And then he has a quick effect during your opponent's turn to discard a card, target a card on the field, destroy it, gain 1000 attack. This is pretty much like a slightly better Trident effect, but it's also going to trigger a search with your Armed Dragon when you discard an Armed Dragon to use its effect. And of course it'll get that 1000 attack gain, which is really nice. So the idea with this deck is you just want enough to survive turn 1, and then you're going to use his effect to kind of search for a follow-up play, and then you'll usually have a lot of resources in the grave as well. So you're just going to hit them like a truck on turn 3. You're not trying to make like the most oppressive board going first. I mean, if you can, absolutely do it, but for the most part, you're just going to chill out, and it doesn't really even matter if Thunder level 10 like gets destroyed, or you get sent him to graveyard, or he gets banished or something. It's really not that big of a deal because the follow-up, even without Thunder level 10, is amazing. He's just there to help you survive and to search for a new card for the next turn. So there's that really weird misconception that the entire deck revolves around him, and I think it comes from the fact that he has a effect at 10,000 attack. He can nuke the field. It never happens. It literally is impossible to get to, even with Pile. It just never happens. It's funny when it does. I've actually never resolved it in a real game, but yeah, it just doesn't come up. And you only want the 1 because he doesn't do anything in your hand like the other Armed Dragon Thunders. He's an absolute brick. And you can even recycle him if you really want him back by summoning level 10 white and then using lightning to get him back from your grave. Level 10 white, on the other hand, is more of your going second boss monster, so you special summon him by banishing Armed Dragons on your field and or grave whose total level equals 10 combined. He'll search for White Veil, but we don't play that garbage. It's a really bad card. But that does mean his summon can get Ash, so do to keep that in mind. I don't think people really pay enough attention to Ash you, and they usually Ash way earlier, so it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, you're going to search this through level 7. It's a free special summon. He has a lot of versatility because he's level 10, so you can go into rank 10 play. Same thing with him as well. And then you have a dragon effect, of course, so you can link him off into Erratic Seals when you're done. And he has a really good effect during the start of the damage step to non-target destroy a card, so you can remove multiple threats on the field, which is very handy in a format where Artifact Scythe exists. So if you can clear the board with this guy and then get out Thunder level 10, that is golden. So I do like that little niche with the deck, that it has main deck boss monsters. Then we got our generic Wind Dragon lineup. We got Tempest, the Dragon Ruler of Storms, Dragoonity Armogram, and Kawaki Myra Drago. All these guys are pretty important, but Tempest is literally the glue that holds this deck together. So this is searchable off Armed Dragon Thunder level 5, same thing with Armogram. So he's going to be able to discard a wind monster in your hand and himself to search for any dragon in your deck, and that is just insane for combos. The next turn, you can banish 2 wind monsters from your hand or grave to special summon him, giving you a nice follow-up for turn 3. And then if he's banished, let's say off of like Armogram's effect, you can search for a wind dragon and add it from deck to hand. So he has a lot of versatility, but for the most part, we want his hand effect, which is also the reason why I'm not running Gold Sarcophagus anymore. Dragoonity Armogram, on the other hand, is more of like a beat stick go second card. So this is going to special summon itself by banishing 2 dragons from your hand or grave, or winged beasts, but we don't play any. It'll special summon itself. It's a level 10 dragon, so you got the same versatility as level 10 white. Has an effect as spell speed 1 to target a monster on the field, permanently negate its effect, so they have to respond to this. It really helps with cracking boards. And then if any of your monsters destroy a monster by battle, you can equip it to Armogram. So if you don't want something like an Eldritch the Golden Lord going to grave, you can make sure it stays out of the graveyard. Kawaki Myra Drago is not searchable off Armed Dragon Thunder level 5, but it is summonable off of Erratic Seals. It will have 0 attack, 0 defense when you do that, but that's totally fine because you have Thunder level 10 to make sure nothing swings into this, which is really nice. But it pretty much says that you and your opponent can't special summon light or dark monsters, which is very one-sided because you don't play that many light and dark monsters. You can definitely just play a bunch of winds and you're fine. So this is going to auto win a ton of matchups. It's not the greatest against the Brave engine though, so you know, you might want to consider maybe Fallen of Albaz instead to fuse with your opponent's monsters. But I still think like if you can get past that Brave engine, which isn't like too terribly difficult, you can summon this guy and then the rest of their strategy falls apart, because most strategies are light and dark focused outside of that engine. So I still think it's good in the TCG. Then for our dedicated normal summon, I'm playing 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. This is infinitely better than Artillery Catapult Turtle. I don't know why people still choose to play that card. And then I play 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. So basically how this works is you're going to link this into Striker Dragon. You can do Chainlink 1 Black Metal, Chainlink 2 Striker to make sure this doesn't get Ash Blossomed, which is really nice. You'll search for the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. You can banish a dragon on the field to summon it, and then it'll special summon a dragon from your hand or grave. So you can use this to either correct your hands, or if you're just in the middle of the combo, you can bring out your Thunder level 7 from the grave, discard once, go into level 10, and you also have the extra dragon body on the board. So that pretty much just is a free Hieratic Seals plus Thunder level 10, and it's searchable through Tempest, but I play 3 anyways because if you hard draw it, your combo becomes much bigger. To make the combo ceiling a little bit higher for this Armed Dragon deck, I decided to keep the Rocket package that I had in Master Duel, and that's going to be 1 Absolute Dragon, 1 Rocket Tracer, and 1 Rocket Recharger. So the idea behind this is that any 2 dragons can make Romulus, and then Romulus can get you into Dragon's Ravine, which sends any dragon from deck to grave. When you send Absolutor to grave, either through Dragon's Ravine or if you draw him with an Armed Dragon effect, that will trigger his effect to search for Rocket Tracer. You naturally search Boot Sector Launch in your combo, so you can special summon him from your hand, and then he's going to pop the Boot Sector Launch to special summon your Rocket Recharger. Recharger's effect is irrelevant now that Striker Dragon is limited to 1, but it basically is just a level 4 non-tuner to special summon off Tracer, and then boom, you can make your Borreload Savage Dragon, which gives your end board a little bit more insurance, giving you that Omni Negate to make sure you don't lose to something stupid like an Infinite Impermanence or a Forbidden Chalice. But for the most part, I'm mainly playing it because if you get hand trapped at some moment, you know, any 2 dragons on the field is going to get you into this engine. And when your opponent's discarding, all of a sudden a Borreload Savage Dragon is going to be that much more threatening. So I just really like this because it just makes it so I can play through hand traps easier, gives me a little bit of insurance, all that good stuff. For the 6 free spots in our deck, I decided to play the most impactful hand traps. That's going to be 3 copies of Droll and Knockbird and 3 copies of Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. So the reason I'm playing these is because Droll and Knockbird not only has synergy with the deck being a wind monster for Tempest, but it's also just going to shut down any deck running the Adventure Token package, because when they search 1, you can stop them from getting not only the Griffin, but it turns off their entire deck, because every deck needs at least 1 search. Which is why, you know, this doesn't see play all the time because sometimes decks only need that 1 search, and that's where Ash Blossom is better. But in this case, you know, people are using an outside engine to search for a card, so you can just turn off their entire deck. And then Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit's really great because this is like the 1 hand trap I'm okay with drawing multiples of, because you can use it to pop something to negate a search essentially, because the Brave engine is a continuous spell to search, so I believe that will negate the search. Or you can hold on to it if you only have 1, and when Griffin Rider tries to negate you, you can just use it and then it'll pop it because it has to shuffle back into the deck to negate your effect. If you draw multiple, you can negate the search, and then you can like save the other one for Appaloosa, because if Appaloosa can't lower its attack, it can't negate your effect. So I really like the 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Droll Lockbird, because the way I see it, it's like this is the most powerful hand trap, and then this is like the most applicable hand trap, if that makes any sense. Also, there's a spell card that we're going to be using to search out a lot of cards, and these cards do come in handy for that very specific spell. You'll see it in just a little bit. This is where things get a little crazy and quite different. So the Armed Dragon spell lineup I'm going for is only 1 copy of Armed Dragon Flash, 1 copy of Armed Dragon Blitz, and 1 copy of Armed Dragon Lightning. So Lightning and Flash are very standard in this deck, but I cut Flash down to 1 because Flash doesn't really make any sense with the new like win condition of Pile Armed Dragon. Like if you draw this with Pile, like what are you doing? You're not really doing anything. This was only good to summon Thunder level 10 or to get a body on the board. So I feel like you only need 1 to search it with your level 7, because that can be kind of a handy extender, especially if you hard draw the Blitz. So I don't really think it's a good starter anymore. Just cut it down to 1 so you can search it, and that's really about it. You just want to see Pile Armed Dragon plus a level 5 or a 7 or a level 3 even, if you have enough in your hands to work with that. And then Armed Dragon Blitz is like the better extender now, because you can target Pile Armed Dragon, and because it doesn't change its name like the other Armed Dragons, you can special summon another pile from your deck, getting you into a free rank 7 that is a quick effect pop. And the reason this is important is because if you don't want to discard a hand trap with Thunder level 10, or you just want to get your full board and you can't do Thunder level 10 and the rocket package without discarding your whole hand, this is going to be the way to do it, because you're getting a quick effect pop that doesn't require a discard to protect that Kawaki Meyer Drago. It does lock you into dragons, which is fine. We only really play dragons, but it does mean you can't do the Gustav Lieb shenanigans going second, but I did have a solution to this. And you also can't attack directly with a monster you special summon, which isn't a big deal. Armed Dragon Lightning is a staple. It's been a staple in this deck for like ever, but the 1 is great because this is what you usually search when you're going for your Thunder level 10, because it can recur an Armed Dragon monster from your graveyard, and then you can get that extra discard going, or just like get the Armed Dragon that you want to discard for the next turn. So you can search, like, you know, add back level 5, search an Armagram, or add back level 7, search a 10 white. And of course it's going to protect your Armed Dragon from being destroyed by a card effect by sending this to the grave. Makes your Thunder level 10 a little bit of a bitch to deal with. And then even the attack boosting effect comes up. You can boost your monster's attack by their level times, like, I think it's like 100 or something. Yeah, it's 100. That can help you smack over annoying towers that are like unaffected by card effects, like, I don't know, the Arrival Cybers or Ultimate Falcon, stuff like that. So it does come in handy. I like all of these at 1 because these are just all searchable toolbox cards. Alright, time for the new best spell in the deck. I only have 1 copy right now because the others are taking forever to get here. Small World. So I'm playing 3 copies of Small World. This card is absolutely cracked. It's what the deck really needed after Pile, because again, your win condition is Pile plus another Armed Dragon. You don't really care about Flash as a starter anymore. So this allows you to search for any monster in the game by banishing a monster from your hand, basically. I'll go through the Small World bridges at the end of the video, so you guys kind of get the general idea of how to search for any card you want. But the way the card works is you banish a monster in your hand face down. You're going to banish a second monster from your deck face down with only 1 trait in common with that monster. That's going to either be the attribute, the attack, the defense, the type, just 1 stat, and nothing else can match. Then you're going to do the same for the third card, except the third card is going to be added to your hand, and it only needs 1 thing in common with the second card. It doesn't have to deal with anything with the first card. So I know it's a little bit of a mouthful, I know it's a little bit hard to take in, but I promise at the end of the video I will show you how Small World works and how it can be applied to this deck. Then I'm running 2 spells that I really don't want to run, but I kind of have to. 2 Pot of Prosperity. I hate this card because it conflicts with Thunder level 3 and it halves your damage, but sometimes you're just going to have those really bad hands, and rather than drawing an Armed Dragon Flash that does nothing, I would rather draw a card that lets me excavate the top 6 cards of my deck and add 1 to my hand. So even if I am ending on a suboptimal board or no cards in hand, at least I'm able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I'm only running this at 2 and not 3 because I only want to draw it when I'm not drawing my already good cards. So yeah, the 2 really helps with the consistency. I highly recommend it. If you can't afford this, because I know it's expensive, it's not integral to the deck, you could probably play an Upstart Goblin and an Armed Dragon Flash instead, but I think this is like pseudo necessary. And then lastly, I got some field spells. I got Dragon's Ravine and Boot Sector Launch. This is searchable through Striker Dragon, special summons your rockets from hand. And Dragon Ravine is searchable through Romulus, which is any 2 dragons. It's going to send any dragon from your deck to grave by discarding a card. Now that we've gone through the main deck, it's time for the extra deck. I'm running 1 copy of Striker Dragon to search for the Boot Sector Launch, send your Red Eyes Darkness, or I'm sorry, your Black Metal Dragon to grave so you can search for Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I'm playing 2 copies of the Hieratic Seal of Heavenly Spheres. This is your best interruption in the entire deck. Any 2 dragons can make it. It's a quick effect, tribute itself, bounce a face-up card back to your hand or opponent's hand, usually your opponent's hand. I don't know why you bounce your own stuff. But that's going to get out your Kawaki Meyer Drago from your deck and get rid of a card on your opponent's side of the field. Dragoonity Knight Romulus, again, this searches Dragon's Ravine. Any 2 dragons can make it. It really helps you play through hand traps and make your board stronger. You have 1 Quad Boral Dragon. This one's really interesting. So you discard a card which can actually trigger an Armed Dragon Thunder effect, and then you're going to destroy itself to special summon your Rocket Tracer and your Rocket Recharger from grave. This is important because sometimes you'll want that 2 negates with Borreload Savage Dragon. So if you don't need Romulus and you want a Link 2 in the grave to equip with Savage, this is the way to do it. I am playing the Nightmare package. I'm playing the 1 Phoenix and the 1 Nightmare Cerberus in order to pop some problematic cards on the field. This card hasn't arrived in the mail either, so I'll blow up the image on the screen. I'm just using a face down card as a proxy. I think it's called like the Darkest Dragon Doom Rider or something, but you're gonna summon this with Arm Dragon Blitz and make a free rank 7, and it's just a quick effect pop. Does almost the same thing as Thunder level 10, just a little bit weaker. But you know, if you want to use that hand trap in your hand and not discard it with Thunder level 10, or if you want to get the Savage Dragon out and you can't do that plus the level 10, that is going to be the way to do it. Then we have the Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. I figured if we're running the Blitz package, this would be a good way to burn our opponent out of the game, since we don't have access to Gustav Max when we're locked into dragons. So burning for 500 anytime they activate a card effect after swinging kind of makes it difficult to deal with, and then also it can't be destroyed by card effects. Then of course we are still playing the most broken Xyz monsters in our extra deck. We're playing Gustav Max to burn our opponent for 2000, whether it's to go into Liba, apparently that's what Duel Links calls it, or to finish off our opponent after we swung with our level 10s. Then we got the Liba to attack all the monsters on the field, potentially gain 2000 attack, kill our opponent. Or if we're under Prosperity and our damage is halved, you don't activate any of these effects, but you still make them, and then after you attack and wipe the board, you go into Zeus, so that way you have 2 Send All to Graves with Zeus as a quick effect. For our level 8 Dark Synchros, I'm playing 1 Borreload Savage Dragon. It's just, you know, the main one you want to go with, your Rocket Engine. It's an Omni Negate. You equip a Link monster from your grave, gain that many Boral counters for its Link rating. That's how many negates it gets. Draco Berserker, the Tenny, I think this is a really cool card, especially for going second with your Rocket Engine. This could potentially OTK your opponent, being able to gain the attack of the monster it destroys by battle, and then it can attack again. And if a monster were to activate its effect, you get to banish that monster. And then I'm running the 1 Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend. This card is really insane, because it's going to wipe the field for anything with 3000 or less attack, basically, and it's going to burn your opponent for 500 for each monster. So the main reason I run this, as good as removal as it is, the main reason I run this is because when a judge calls time, I need to be able to burn my opponent during the main phase, because you only get till the end of the phase to finish your duel. I'm going to show you a couple of bread and butter combos with this deck. Your combos are going to change drastically depending on your hand. And usually you end on like the same board. It's just like very different how you get there. So I don't recommend kind of memorizing straight linear combos. I would say it's better just to kind of just know how all of your cards work. But to help you get there, I am going to show you a couple combos. So 3 random cards, preferably 1 monster, and then 1 Pile Arm Dragon, 1 Arm Dragon Thunder level 7 or level 5. And again, these cards are very searchable through like Small World, the Arm Dragon Thunder effects, so it's not very hard to do this. It's not like you have to hard open Pile or anything, but to make it easier, let's just say we hard open this. So I'm going to activate Pile's effect to send the level 7 to grave to special summon it. That'll trigger the level 7 to search for a card. I'm going to search for a level 3 because let's just say we don't have a wind monster to discard, so I'll search for the Arm Dragon Thunder level 3. I'm going to use Pile's effect to send an Arm Dragon from deck to grave. So I'm going to send the Arm Dragon Thunder level 5 from deck to grave. That'll trigger its effect after boosting its attack to search for a Tempest, Dragon Ruler of Storms. And then I can activate Tempest effect to discard the Arm Dragon Thunder level 3. If you already have a wind monster in your hand to discard, then by all means search Lightning to protect your Thunder level 10 and give you some recursion. But yeah, we're going to use it to search for a Black Metal Dragon. Is usually your search. You're going to draw 1 card, so I'll just add a random card that won't mess up the combo. I'm going to normal summon Black Metal Dragon. We're going to link summon into a Striker Dragon. And then you're going to go Chain Link 1 Black Metal, Chain Link 2 Striker, because you don't want the Black Metal getting ashed. So that chain order is very important because your opponent can only respond to the last chain. So let's go ahead and add the Boot Sector launch first, because that's the first thing that resolves. So we'll add that, and then we'll add the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to our hands. From here, we can go ahead and banish the Striker Dragon and special summon the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. The Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon will activate its effects to summon the Thunder level 7. We can then go ahead and link these 2 off into Hermetic Seals. So if we get Nibiru'd, Hermetic Seals will get tributed. It'll special summon a level 7 directly from our deck, and then it's like almost nothing happened. And then our Thunder level 7 is going to activate its effect to discard any monster in our hands, and we can special summon our Arm Dragon Thunder level 10 from our deck. So this is just kind of like the rough way of showing you how the combo actually works. Again, like it's very dependent on what your hand is, but usually you have like an Arm Dragon in hand. that you recur with lightning. So you like, if we had lightning on the field, let's say, like, where is it? Like, if we have lightning on the field because we already had a wind monster to discard with Tempest, we didn't need to search level 3. You can add this back to your hand, and during your opponent's turn, you know, you can bounce something back and then trigger its effect to special summon your Kawaki Myra Drago or whatever's best for the matchup. And then your Thunder level 10 can like discard this, pop a card, and then 7 will search for either 10 whites or, yeah, let's go with 10 whites, which even though we're locked into Light and Darks, all you have to do is recur your level 5 from grave with lightning and then tribute summon the level 5, and then you're all of a sudden you're out of the lock. Or you can search for a pile arm dragon, which is probably better, and then you can recur another arm dragon from your grave with lightning, discard with pile arm dragon, get that on the field, maybe boost something's attack. So that follow-up play with turn 3 is what really matters with this deck. Your goal turn 1 is basically just to survive. So let's say we have the same exact hand with the pile and the level 7 or the 5, but then let's also include a black metal that we hard drawn. Like, how does this change the combo? Like, any black metal or you know, an extender can change this combo. So I'm going to activate pile as before, send level 7 to grave, special summon the pile arm dragon. We're going to use 7's effect to search for an arm dragon lightning from deck to hand. So we'll add lightning to our hand. We're going to activate pile's effect again, of course, to send the Thunder level 5 to grave. And instead of searching Tempest, I'm actually going to search for the Dragoonity Armogram. Now I'm going to normal summon the Black Metal Dragon and link it off into a Striker Dragon. Chainlink 1 Black Metal, Chainlink 2 Striker Dragon, doesn't really matter. And then we'll add the Boot Sector Launch to our hand once more, add the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon to our hand as well. From here, I'm actually going to, I'm going to banish the Striker Dragon, special summon Red Eyes Darkness Metal. We're going to special summon the level 7 from grave as normal. And then we're going to go into Romulus with this. We're going to special summon, link summon Romulus from our extra deck with those 2 dragons. Romulus is going to activate its effect to search for a Dragon's Ravine, add it from deck to hand. So there's our Dragon's Ravine. We're going to activate our Dragon's Ravine. We're going to discard the Armogram that we added and send the Absoluter Dragon from deck to grave. So that'll trigger the Absoluter Dragon to search for our Rocket Tracer from the deck. And then before we do anything, we're going to banish the Absoluter Dragon, and we're going to banish anything that we don't care about. So Black Metal, special summon the Armogram. We're going to link off into a Hieratic Seal, so we're Nibiru proof now. We can special summon something if they Nibiru us. And then we're going to activate the Boot Sector Launch, getting rid of our Dragon's Ravine. Use its effect to special summon Rocket Tracer. We'll use Rocket Tracer to pop the Boot Sector Launch and special summon a Rocket Recharger from the deck. And then we can synchro summon using these 2 to go into your Borreload Savage Dragon. Borreload Savage Dragon will activate its effect, and you'll equip your Dragoonity Knight Romulus to it. And then after that, you can go ahead and use Thunder level 7's effect to discard a monster from your hand and special summon your Arm Dragon Thunder level 10, just like last time. And that was after you got the negate up, after you got the Hieratic Seals up, so that makes that really good. So we'll special summon the Thunder level 10. Also, put your cards in different columns. I'm just doing it so the camera can catch it easier. I'll activate Arm Dragon Lightning, and then Lightning will activate its effect to recur an Arm Dragon. So that way, you still get the Kawaki Myra Drago play off the Hieratic Seals. You can still discard an Arm Dragon to search for a new card while you pop your opponent's monster effect. And this entire time, you'll have an Omni Negate for this turn and the next turn, making your combo just a little bit safer. Oh, and of course, on top of that, if you get like Raigeki or something stupid, you just send Arm Dragon Lightning to the grave, and your Arm Dragon Thunder level 10 will be protected. So as I promised, I did say I would show you guys some Small World bridges. So with Small World, let's say you want to get a pile Arm Dragon in your hand, but you have 2 copies of Arm Dragon Thunder level 7. So you're going to banish the Thunder level 7, And then you can either banish the Droll and Lockbird from your deck. So either Droll and Lockbird, or you can banish simply a copy of Black Metal Dragon, because these two only have one thing in common with this. So you're either going to banish this or this, because the only thing in common with these two is that they're wind monsters, and the only thing in common with these two is that they're dragon monsters. They have nothing else in common. And then for the third card, you're just going to add a Pile Armed Dragon, because Pile Armed Dragon only has one thing in common with these two, because it's just the same thing as this. So like literally your first and your third target can be like identical in stats, and you can still get the search off. So the idea with Small World is to correct your Armed Dragon into whatever Armed Dragon you need. So you can turn a Pile into a level 5, you can turn a level 5 into a Pile, you can turn a level 7 into a Pile. You can even turn a level 7 into a hand trap if you wanted to. Like, let's say you want to draw a Lockbird because you had too many Armed Dragons in hand. You can go banish Black Metal Dragon and then banish search the Droll and Lockbird, because these two are dragons and then these two are level 1, and that's all they have in common. So that's something else that you can do. Or if you wanted Ghost Ogre, let's say we banish the Armed Dragon level 10 white, because the only thing they have in common is they're dragons, and then you can add the Ghost Ogre to your hand because the only thing they have in common is that they're light monsters. Let's say you have one too many Black Metal, you can go ahead and banish the Black Metal, banish a level 10 white from your deck, and then add the Thunder level 5 or a Pile to your hand. Hopefully these examples make the card more clear to the newer players or people who are just unfamiliar with Small World. Again, I know it's a headache to understand, but once you do, it's so simple and you don't need to memorize any of these bridges. It's just very like, oh, I remember this thing has this stat shared with this monster. That's going to be all for today's deck profile. I know you guys were really looking forward to this one, so I genuinely hope I delivered. This is infinitely better than my Master Duel list. I can hardly even go back to Master Duel playing Armed Dragons because of this, because Small World just boosts the consistency of this deck by 1,000,000, and Armed Dragon Blitz gives you a really solid new line of play. In terms of competitive viability, I still gotta play test it some more and take it to locals, but from what I can tell, it's competitive enough, it's viable. You can win the game if you're going first, you can win the game if you're going second, you just gotta draw well. So maybe it's not consistent enough for something like a YCS, but it's the perfect deck to take to a local, and that's all that really matters. As for what this deck needs to be taken to the next level, I think it needs a Rhoda to generate more card advantage and to just see Pile even more often. And I also think the deck needs like a searchable counter trap to make their turn 1 board just a little bit more oppressive. You'll be able to play this deck on March 11th. That's when the Hidden Arsenal Chapter 1 set comes out with Pile Armed Dragon, so do keep that in mind. And that's going to be all for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe, especially since we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. It really helps. I'll see you guys later. Peace.